So the Nintendo Switch 2 has just been finally unveiled. This video isn't even scripted, I just have thoughts on my mind. Mainly software, which we will be seeing in the Direct. So first of all, I want to see a Mario Odyssey sequel, or just a brand new 3D Mario game. I really like the gameplay formula in Mario Odyssey, where you have different kingdoms, and then you just go around those. I think it is a much better iteration of 3D Mario than, say, something like 64 or Sunshine, where you go into the level, do an objective, get booted out the level, and you need to go back into it. Because it just means there's a lot of wasted time there. With Mario Odyssey, it's just fast and snappy, and even if it isn't a Mario Odyssey 2, I want to see that same kind of snappiness to the gameplay. Of course, for Kingdoms, I want to see mainly brand new ones. Like, that feels obvious, but as well as that, Mario Odyssey brought back the Mushroom Kingdom. I'd like to see Isle Delfino from Super Mario Sunshine, and a few level recreations might be cool as a bonus reward for completing the game. In the same way, you know, that's probably where Isle Delfino might come into it. But I'm thinking something like a Super Mario 64 level recreated exactly as it is. I also need to mention Mario Kart 9, or I suppose it might be Mario Kart 10, because Nintendo do keep considering Mario Kart Tour as the 9th game. So it might just be called like Mario Kart X or something like that, where the number is removed from the title, so that, you know, if it's called Mario Kart 10, it might confuse people, where's Mario Kart 9? So by X, it kind of eliminates that. It doesn't look like it's been created from the ground up in scratch, but rather taking the base of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and then crafting new tracks and karts through that. In terms of mechanics to this Mario Kart X, I don't know what they can really add, but one thing I would like to see return is like a double dash game mode, where it's two people on one kart playing together. It doesn't have to be like a main feature, but rather just an optional mode. I'd also like to see a lot more battle tracks, and most of the battle modes from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe return, because that battle mode is actually really fun. Of course, there's going to be a brand new 3D Zelda at some point, but I don't want to see the same kind of style of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I think if they are going to do that, it needs to be somewhere brand new outside of Hyrule, because having the third Hyrule map 3 games in a row, it might begin to feel stale, and there's a lot of people who already think that Tears of the Kingdom is Breath of the Wild DLC. And whilst I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom myself, everything I've seen of it is very much not that. But if there was a third game in this gameplay style, then we're going to see that narrative come back, and come back stronger than ever. So I'd like to see a more traditional 3D Zelda game. But of course, two of the Wii U's biggest exclusives that haven't been ported yet are Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD. I think those could make nice ports to the Switch 2. Tears of the Kingdom released fairly recently, so a brand new 3D Zelda game is going to be quite far away. I'm thinking like at least 4 or 5 more years. So if we have those ports in the first year of the Switch, not necessarily a launch title, but just within the first year, I think that will be a great way to bring Zelda to the system without having to make a new game. Another game I'm really excited for is Professor Layton and the New World of Steam. I've been a Professor Layton fan for pretty much all of my life. Ever since the second game released in the UK, that is when I've been a fan. And I'm really excited to see what mystery we're going to see unfold. I'm really excited to have a Layton game in HD that isn't Layton's Mystery Journey. And we can't talk about Professor Layton without talking about Ace Attorney. Is there going to be an Ace Attorney 7 soon? Because it feels like that's what we're building up to with Ace Attorney. We've had the trilogy, we've had the Apollo Justice trilogy, the Great Ace Attorney games finally localized, as well as the Miles Edgeworth collection. It is a complete series refresher, so it feels like now is the perfect time to do Ace Attorney 7. But before they do that, there is one Ace Attorney game that is yet to be ported. I'm talking about, of course, Professor Layton vs Phoenix Wright, and this is a phenomenal game and one of my favourite games of all time. and one of the best crossovers to ever exist. I think with the brand new Professor Layton game coming out and Ace Attorney being at an all-time popularity high, this would be the perfect time to port the game, because we might be a year or two away from Ace Attorney 7 at the moment, so having a filler game there with the port of Professor Layton vs Ace Attorney, as well as making it release sometime around or after the launch of the new Professor Layton game, I think that will be a really good opportunity to have the game finally ported. And the reason it matters so much to have this game ported is because the 3DS eShop is closed down, so that means physical copies of the game have already skyrocketed in price, and it was already an expensive game before the eShop closure, so that has just gotten much, much worse. Metroid Prime 4 is obviously going to be on the Switch too. I've never played a Metroid game, but Metroid Prime 4 has me hyped for some reason. I think just because it was first unveiled with the Switch and it's been a long build up here. And then with Metroid Dread releasing, I finally decided to get into Metroidvania games and I enjoyed them. So I want to take the opportunity to get into Metroid, and if Metroid Prime 4 released with the Switch 2 as a launch title, that would really incentivize me to finally get into that series. There's obviously going to be a hardware showcase style game, sort of like Wii Sports was, or what 1-2 Switch was. And I hope it is better than 1-2 Switch, because that game released, existed for a day, and nobody ever seemed to care about it again. One thing that I'm surprised never released is a new Punch-Out game with the Switch. I think with the motion controls it would work really well. So maybe we could finally see a brand new Punch-Out game on the Switch too. It's been a long time since Punch-Out on the Wii released, so I honestly think a new Punch-Out game would be cool. I don't expect it, but it would be nice to have. There's most likely going to be a brand new IP in this new Direct somewhere, and of course it is impossible to even speculate what that might be, because it is completely unknown. But there's going to be a brand new IP, maybe even an ARMS revival, because I think that series really looked cool from when it was first revealed. But nobody had a Switch at the time, and there wasn't much gameplay to speak of. So if there was a new ARMS game that actually had more to do and was a lot more engaging, it could actually kickstart the franchise back into overdrive. I also think a new Animal Crossing is just a surefire guess. New Horizons exploded in popularity and quickly rose its way up the ranks to be one of the Switch's best-selling games. So I think, yeah, a new Animal Crossing is going to happen. The question is when? Because if we assume the first year is going to have the new Mario Kart, a 3D Mario, and possibly a Zelda port, as well as a brand new IP, as well as the hardware showcase style game, I think the first year is going to have plenty of games, and Nintendo might want to stagger out the releases a bit. So I'm saying late year 2, early year 3 of the Switch 2 for a new Animal Crossing. And I'm someone who wasn't a massive fan of New Horizons. I found the game to be quite boring after quite a while, so I really hope they actually bring back the personality and the characters of the villagers, as well as giving you more to do that isn't just the island. City Folk had the city, New Leaf had the towns and the tropical islands with little mini-games you could play there, and it was really cool to be able to get a break away from the island and come back with all the new stuff you had. New Horizons was missing that. And of course, we will probably see a brand new Smash Bros. Game. I don't know how it's going to happen because the roster is already absolutely stacked. So I think we're going to see a more neutered list of characters that are playable, but there's obviously going to be newcomers in there, and in terms of newcomers, Crash Bandicoot he has to happen, right? Crash Bandicoot and Master Chief. They are the two biggest gaming icons I can think of right now that aren't in Smash Bros. And would be perfect to add. This is more of a complete hope rather than a prediction. But I really want to see Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 ported to the Switch and Switch 2. It feels now is the perfect time to have those games ported, because we just had the launch of Sonic Movie 3 and it has been doing incredibly well at the box office, and it was a phenomenal movie. A lot of people are going to be intrigued by Shadow's character now, And whilst we did just have Sonic and Shadow Generations released to coincide with that, I think being able to play Sonic Adventure 2 on modern platforms with a better port than what's on Steam would be great. Especially because we're still going to be about 2 years away from the big sequel to Sonic Frontiers, whatever that might be. Just a quick port, not a full remaster, just a quick port job with Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 would be really cool to see. But yeah, those are my quick rambling thoughts. There are, I'm sure, a lot of franchises I haven't mentioned here, but you know, a 3D Mario, a Zelda port, because Tears of the Kingdom and Echoes of Wisdom have recently released, we're not going to see a new Zelda game. So a port would be a nice, easy guess there. Metroid Prime 4 is just got to be a Switch 2 launch title, and Professor Layton was revealed to be 2025 with no release date. And I think maybe they couldn't announce a release date because it was for the Switch 2. But yeah, as I said, there's a lot of franchises I haven't touched upon here just because these are quick rambling thoughts that I haven't scripted. If there are any franchises you think I've missed, and there are definitely going to be some, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'd love to have a discussion about the Switch 2 because I am so excited for this console. I adore the Switch and I love so much of the software that's available for it. And I haven't even spoke about backwards compatibility. It's backwards compatible. That's great. So yeah, there is still a lot to talk about with the Switch 2, but I mainly wanted to talk about brand new games or the already existing games that have been confirmed to have a release date that might appear on Switch 2. And I have been working on the Little Big Planet retrospective for a long time, so this is just a nice little filler thing to throw in there whilst I'm still working on that video. Yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I will hopefully be doing a live reaction to the Switch Direct if I am free from work. So there's going to be so many insane reveals there, I'm sure, so you won't want to miss that. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you all have a nice day.